What's up, guys? It's Tanner and Rajiv. We're here with the 1975. What's up, guys?
Hello.
We're huge fans, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So you guys have had huge success with your self-titled release, especially here in the U.S. Like, it blew up the Billboard charts. Like, what has been the most exciting part of all that success?
Oh, well, I mean, we don't really, I suppose it's weird to hear you say it like that. We don't really think about it in that kind of way, otherwise we'd go crazy, you know. It's been an amazing year. I mean, I think it's testament to the power of the internet and the way that we've been able to just come out and kind of tour America so freely, I suppose. You know, we've never, I don't think we've ever done a show out here that's not sold out. So it's very exciting for us as well. And but yeah, we're just kind of taking it in our stride. You know, we've been a band for so long that we're just very humbled by how much we get to do.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. So I noticed one day I signed on to Twitter and it was like the 1975 was everywhere, like exploded, and you could not see it like anywhere on any social media site. So what do you think that was for you guys? Was that like was that like more like you're pushing social media really hard? You were out there, you just put it out and it kind of caught fire?
Right at the beginning, you're talking about?
Yeah, like maybe, you know, when the album came out, that's when I noticed a lot of buzz around you guys, just fast.
Yeah,
big.
I mean, it just became a bit of a story, I think. Like we had quite a removed attitude towards the kind of social media element. We kind of wanted to play it again, its own game a little bit, kind of not have as much information. I mean, in the initial stages, people didn't know if we were a band or we were what we were. You know, there's been a lot of imagery, kind of, and a lot of we've taken a lot of care in our aesthetic and the way that we presented ourselves. And I think that we were this very, very fully formed band that seemingly came out of nowhere, and people were just really, really excited about it. You know.
Yeah, I think the album was a culmination of like everything really, and I think people were just intrigued to hear what it was going to sound like. So
yeah. I was intrigued.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, what is this everyone's talking about? What's going on?
Exactly.
So now you guys, I notice often, I follow you guys on Twitter, and you guys often tweet in capital letters, and a lot of your photos are in black and white. Now, is branding, you know, like a big part of, you know, what you guys have been doing recently?
Well, I think it's become a massive part of us. Yeah, I mean, our identity is very much concrete, and it was before anybody had ever really heard of the band. So we weren't coming from a place of marketing necessarily when it was coming to the branding of the thing, but our obsession with, you know, well, we kind of looked at like Chanel and thought like just how clean everything was. Like, it's all about clean lines, and so we just have the box. And I think it was more to do, the black and white was kind of came from not wanting to expose ourselves too much. You know, we'd had 10 years of being in a band. We just wanted to let let the music do the talking kind of thing. And I think that everything just became this, there was a massive synergy between the way that we presented ourselves visually and musically. And yeah, and it was kind of,
I think it's nice to have a consistency across like all aspects of the band, like even live, like the show's just white, you know, there's no colour anywhere.
Yeah,
so it's just,
we don't use colour.
Hones everything
It's cool.
in, keeps everyone focused.
It's very mysterious.
I think it is, but it's also kind of obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the noir, like the technique of noir. It's like a tale as old as time. Like, I think it's it connotes a lot of classic kind of cool sensibilities as well, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. You had like leather jacket and black and white, you know, that whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, and I was going to talk about fashion too. You guys,
always so fashionable.
You always look good, which is cool. You always look good. You kind of have like, the thing is, even though you're like out on the road, you're grunging, like, you know what I mean? Like you're roughing it. Like you do it like in a way that's like, it's
stylish.
Like, it's cool. It's like it works. Very European.
Like we tried today, and you guys are still looking better than we do.
I got 2 different types of animal print on one shirt. So
yeah, you have.
pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
Snake and leopard print. I like that.
Yeah.
With fashion, I mean, being European, living in London and being young, I mean, being fashionable is kind of, I don't know, it's a thing, and we have so much access to all of the kind of, you know, like living in London, being a young person, I suppose now who's well known, you know, you have to kind of be a bit fashionable.
Definitely.
Otherwise. But I think that with us, you know, we've just, I don't know. We just wear black. We just wear black, and mainly me and you mainly wear girls' clothes because they fit better.
Yeah.
There's a technique for you.
Oh,
but
I
you
know.
guys probably wouldn't be able to pull it off.
I
'cause
think
you
these
guys
are girls'
too,
pants, actually.
You guys are too built.
Oh, no.
We're like really skinny, so we can pull it off.
So you guys have been a band for like 10 years now, and not a whole lot of people know that. Now, with the most recent record, were a lot of those songs newer songs, or were they ones that you guys kind of wrote over the course of the 10 years that you guys have been playing together?
It was a bit both, really.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a greatest hits.
I'm curious to know, what were some of the songs that were like more recent? Which are some of the older songs from the record?
The most recent song on the album will have been. Well, Is There Somebody You Can Watch You, which is the last one, but
like menswear and money and
no, I think girls
after money, actually. Yeah, that's
girls and menswear. Well, they weren't on the album. They didn't even make the album, and then we ended up putting
Really?
them on at the end.
Great songs.
There's
Wow.
loads of stuff like
Yeah.
that. I think the first will have been
right.
Robbers. Yeah,
Wow.
Robbers.
That is actually my favorite
It's funny,
song.
we were talking about our favorites earlier. Rajiv had said that Robbers.
Robbers and Sex are my
What's
two
his
favorite
favorite? And
songs.
Those are the two first ones.
And I said Girls was my favorite.
Oh, that's the last one.
Last,
Yeah.
and Money's one of my other favorites, so
There
it's
you go.
crazy.
It's interesting, but I
Yeah.
think by that time we'd had such a coherency, and the whole album was like the whole thing of that album is that it kind of sounds like an 80s movie soundtrack, but then again,
It
every
does.
song sounds different. So by
Yeah.
the time we were putting, we were just putting loads of songs on an album.
Yeah, it's awesome. And Girls, you got like that chorus sounding guitar and stuff. On
Yeah,
the
very kind of
verses
in
and-
excess.
There's a lot of
Exactly.
different elements in the
I love
album.
that.
It's really cool.
Well,
groove.
it's an identity, that album, it wasn't like, it's not something that was thrown together over 6 months by a band that had known each other for a couple of years. Like our band started because we were friends, and then it
Yeah.
became this very kind of cathartic process of like our band was like the nucleus of whatever happened, like whether it was our social group or our relationships with girls or whatever. Everything always orbited around the band, and therefore the narratives and all the songs, once we started becoming a band, started becoming about the band, and it was this very insular, weird world that then got picked up, and that's why so many kids now invest in it, because there is this big story. It is the kind of
It's real.
it's
That's what's
real.
cool about
It's a
it.
real story.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Love that. So, what would you say your favorite song of the album is? If you could choose
That's
one
gotta be
song.
tough to pick.
Favorite song on the album.
Yeah.
My favorite song of ours isn't on that. Well, it's on the deluxe album. Is the one that went to
the
number one in
extended,
the UK. That was the big one. That was like 39 tracks.
Mm-hmm.
A song on that called "Falling for You." That's my favorite of our songs.
Yeah.
What's the best song on the album? I don't know. They're all really different, though, aren't they?
They are different. That's what's cool about it.
What about to play live then? You guys have a favorite
Again,
live?
it's the same thing. I mean, Chocolate's obviously always fun.
I'm into playing Heart Out at the minute.
Yeah,
actually.
Heart Out's
Hot Out.
Heart
And
Out's
Pressure.
Yeah, because
Cool
we've got a
song.
sax player live and stuff like that.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's cool.
that's a lot of fun. I think the next record's going to be better anyway. That's what I'm thinking about more.
It's
But anyway,
exciting.
that's for another.
That's actually, I wanted to ask you something
There's
brief.
not
Yeah.
really anything to tell you about it,
There's
mate.
nothing.
I think that we're just being very. Well, I can't say anything because I don't know what it is yet. That next album.
Do you guys have anything written for it
Yeah,
yet?
we've got lots of stuff written for
Okay.
it. But I
Yeah.
think that the first album became quite conceptual. It became this kind of 80s movie soundtrack. That was the concept. But that concept was dictated by loads of material naturally gathering. I think you have to be very careful to let material dictate the concept as opposed to let concepts dictating the material.
Of
because
course.
it might be quite convoluted. So we're just
Yeah.
letting stuff happen.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I've heard you guys talk about like genre bending too. And you've said that like the album, crosses so many genres.
Mm.
And so many times like people like, they label it, they pigeonhole music. And a lot of times it's easy for someone to try to do that because then they understand it.
Of
But what I
course.
like about you guys so much is you don't do that. Every song's different.
Yeah.
And it gives you a lot of creative freedom, which is awesome. And I really respect you guys for that. And I think a lot of people do.
Thank you. I think but I think it's almost turned around, like, because we're more of a representation. The reason that we've been accepted to be able to do that idea, we probably wouldn't have been able to do that 10 years ago, but it's because people's mindset was different, because of the internet, because of this kind of non-linear way of consuming music.
Yeah.
Our attitude is quite a generationally fueled idea. We're a very generationally fueled band, like 15, 16-year-old kids now, they listen to Carole King and they listen to Kendrick Lamar,
It's
you
true,
know, and it's
yeah.
not, and that's not a weird thing anymore, and we're just representative of that idea. I mean, who cares? Like, we don't listen to music in one way.
Yeah.
So we create in the same way that we consume, I think is the quote.
Initially, it was a bit of a hindrance because people were like, "You guys, you don't know what you're doing."
That's why we didn't get signed.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
They couldn't decide whether we were brilliant or just.
But then when we like did it,
That makes
when it
sense.
actualized
Fair
stuff,
enough.
it did take us a while to do it.
yeah.
It did take us a while to get that right.
Yeah.
But
Define the sound. That
well, no,
was
just
you.
to write, to let every song be written in such a way that it was coherent with the last.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Sometimes it got a bit too extreme. You know, we were making like progressive metal and like R&B. It was getting a bit too far, but now we kind of make sense.
Cool.
We sit in
Works.
that kind of 80s pop, 90s R&B
Yeah.
world.
Gotcha. So you guys played Coachella. What was that like? That was the first festival, right? First U.S. festival?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
that's
it was
great.
It was all right. It was a bit of it was stressful. I don't really
Yeah.
know. I can't really remember Coachella. I just remember it being a massive
It's a
stress and
lot.
it being too hot.
Yeah.
And then leaving really quickly.
Yeah.
It wasn't our best festival, but it was okay. It was fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You guys have been touring like crazy too. Like you guys did you guys are doing your US tour right now, and then you guys were back in the UK actually doing the BBC One show,
At
right?
the weekend we flew back
Yeah.
to do a show.
Yeah.
Right, and now you guys are back here. Now, like, does that get stressful, or like, does that hurt the writing on the road, or anything like that, or anything?
it doesn't harm the creative process, but I suppose it does to a certain extent because we're just exhausted.
Yeah.
Physically, yeah.
Okay.
It's but you know we have to honor our relationships with people like like you guys, or whether it's Radio 1 or
Of course.
we want to show as much support as has been given to us. So
Yeah,
kind of
that's awesome.
It's worth the work.
That makes sense.
Very cool.
All right. What's the craziest thing that a fan has said or done? Like, what are some crazy fan encounters besides meeting Rajiv this morning and him just staring at you?
I mean, that
puppy
kind of
dog
thing
eyes.
happens all the time. My favorite was in Winnipeg, where a homeless person came up to our saxophone player during the show at the side of the stage and asked him for change. I don't know how he got there. No one knows how he got there. He didn't have a ticket. Kids who had bought tickets couldn't even get to the side of the stage. But this homeless guy was just there asking everyone for change. I love that. That was quite a recent one.
Yeah.
There's been loads.
There's kids lying down in front of the bus, which I only found out about last night.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
It's like a few weeks ago.
A
maybe?
few weeks ago, like it gets pretty hectic at our shows, like
Yeah.
with young kids, like, and then
I'm sure.
after the shows, there's like there can be up to 1,000 of them trying to
Yeah.
see you or something. So a lot of the time we go out, but sometimes it's simply not in their best interest for us to go out because kids are going to get hurt. So we had to go
course,
straight
yeah.
on the bus and leave, and then they'll lie down in front of the bus. And then they're literally like, or they'll run out in front of the bus like as it's moving to try and. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's incredibly dangerous.
I mean, Rajiv and I walking in this morning, there were people in the lobby
Waiting for you
here
guys.
waiting for
I
you.
didn't even know I was coming here, so I don't know how they know.
Yeah, I was like, how did you, what are you doing here? They're like, oh, the 1975's
they're
here.
at the airport.
Yeah.
How do you
they're
know?
everywhere.
How'd
I've
you
never
know?
found out any of our addresses, but they're at airports. They're everywhere.
I think they have a tracking device inside
Something,
of your
man.
skin
Something.
or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Amazing.
So we asked some people from Twitter actually talking about fans.
Yeah.
What some of the questions they were to want to ask you guys. And L.A. Fatima asked, could you see yourself pursuing any other career other than music?
No,
Music's the one.
Yeah, no.
no, not for me. Anyway, you probably
Not
would have
now.
stood more of a chance. I literally wouldn't have stood a chance. I've never. I mean, yeah, no, I couldn't. I mean, but I was brought up in an environment where that attitude was endorsed. That
Absolutely.
I'm not going to do anything else. You know, a lot of people don't have that environment, don't have the resources to be so strict with I'm going to do that. So I've never really had the mentality of doing anything else.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. What was the first song that you performed at your first show? First 1975 song.
It was My Own Worst Enemy by Lit.
Was it really?
Oh wow.
I was like,
Okay, yeah.
your
That was the
2000?
first show we ever played. We
Yeah,
opened
yeah.
with that.
It wasn't technically an accident.
I was 14.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah.
Okay. This one's a good one. At Claire Brance asked, would you rather be a tiny elephant or a giant bunny?
How big are we? Well, I suppose I'd just go.
Yeah, how big is tiny? That's the thing.
How big is giant?
relative.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
So
I'm gonna go for giant bunny.
Really?
Tiny elephant.
No,
you can't
tiny
do
elephant's
anything.
cool.
No, yeah, tiny elephant is cool, but everyone.
Not
will
if it's
just-
like tiny, if it's like
Everyone will just
like a little
touch you all
dog.
the time, and
Like
that's
a baby
baby. Whereas
elephant.
if you're a
Oh, yeah.
huge bunny, imagine how high you can jump if you're like a huge bunny.
Absolutely. That's a
imagine-
great answer.
no one's gonna have a big enough carrot to satisfy.
No,
you.
you're right.
True.
You never
Life is pointless.
Very, very true. Shadow Pico asks tour bus or airplane.
Tour bus.
You prefer the bus for sure.
I hate.
You got the
planes.
bunks, you can
I hate
sleep.
airplanes. I just hate them.
Private
what
jet.
are they doing?
Boom.
Why does that work? How does that work?
Yeah, it's tiring
Shouldn't
too.
work.
Jet lag too.
Oh, I don't care about jet lag. I just don't.
You're
like
good with
being-
jet lag? You know,
Well, I
doesn't
don't
faze
care.
you.
I need to. I'm more scared about being like in a machine that goes so fast that it physically can't stay on the ground anymore, and they fill it with humans. It's like, why would you do that?
It is kind of scary.
Sounds pretty bad. when you say it like that.
exactly. Yeah.
Terrifying.
So we're gonna ask you guys some even more ridiculous questions now. Just a really quick rapid fire round
these are
here.
our questions
Rapid fire.
too.
Yeah, we thought of these so you can
Do you wanna
judge
do
your
it
way
really
out
quickly
of
then?
it. What is your favorite exotic fruit?
Lychee.
Oh,
That was
good. That was
good.
my boy. I mango.
Interesting.
Lychee's
Lychee.
good.
Your celebrity crush over the age of 70.
Over the age of 70, Helen Mirren.
Okay.
Helen Mirren.
All right, what's your favorite dinosaur?
Velociraptor.
Stegosaurus.
What is that?
It's
It's the one
don't
with
know
the
what that
spikes
is?
on its
It's got
back. It's
spikes
got
on
like
its
the
back.
big.
Okay, that's
trees.
a herbivore versus a carnivore.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you believe in Bigfoot?
No,
is that a disease?
it's a bear.
That's upsetting.
A bear.
I truly believe in Bigfoot.
He
what
does.
do you mean?
He's like
I
done
really,
the
I've watched
research.
I get weird at like 3
Don't
a.m.
you think that if something... don't you think in the mantra of we can only believe in that of which we truly understand? If we're talking about belief...
How am I supposed to answer this?
I'm sorry, right? But we know about like microbacteria that lives under a specific rock in like Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
If there was a species of animal that was kind of humanoid that was walking around North America,
Yeah.
I reckon.
You're saying
I
we-
reckon there'd be more than spurious footage of it.
Yes.
I don't know.
That's true. You're saying we would know. So what about aliens? How do you feel about that? Like,
I don't believe that we are in contact with. I believe that there's stuff out there. I
Yeah.
don't believe that we're the only planet with life.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that we're in a world where we can connect with like alien beings. I don't believe in anything blindly supernatural. I don't believe in anything that's too romantic to be real.
I really wish you believed in Bigfoot. You just crushed my dreams right there. I was just hoping yes, and then we would have this moment and it would be great.
Sorry, dude. I don't.
It's all right. It's okay.
I'm with you.
Do you guys have any like pre-show rituals that you guys do?
We make out with each other.
There we go. Okay.
What do you guys like to do for time off? Touring? Like you just have an off day? What do you do for fun? Just hanging out.
We don't really.
Chill. Just sleep.
We catch up on a lot. It sounds so boring, but like we do literally. We did 300 shows last year. So
Wow.
if you think about that, like
Hefty.
most time is kind of traveling over, or you'll orchestrate a day where you see like all of your family in one place, or a girlfriend, or whatever it is. There's not a lot of the most kind of fun rock and roll happens on show nights, like days off are kind of for salvation to
Yeah.
a certain extent. But
Makes sense.
yeah, just a lot of lying around.
Yeah. Catch up on sleep.
And we if we're ever near the sea, we always get a boat or get jet skis.
Really?
Yeah, we always
It's a good
rent
time.
a boat or go out.
It's great. Do you guys have a day off
That's
soon,
right.
or are you?
Jet ski and
No,
design.
well,
Jet skiing?
don't we fly to Mallorca next week?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I think.
we got a day off when we get to Mallorca. That's what I'm
Okay.
looking forward to.
Jet ski day.
Taking the boat out.
Maybe,
Taking the
yeah,
boat.
yeah, for sure.
Captain.
Weather's nice now too.
Yeah.
We got a lot of friends out in Ibiza and Mallorca. A lot of people kind of move out there. So.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Good deal.
Well, thanks so much for
Yeah.
talking with us,
No, you're
guys.
welcome.
Appreciate
This has
it.
been so rad. You guys
Yeah.
are such like a big influence on our music too.
Yeah,
so
Oh,
yeah,
you
it's
guys
cool.
do music?
Yeah, we do music
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, cool.
We're guest hosting here this week, so
Oh, nice.
you're our first live interview.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, well,
Yeah.
Now we can tell you so that it's not these amateurs.
Surprise!
Oh, nice. It's
But
nice
yeah,
to meet
yeah, we
you.
do music, and you're a huge influence, and
Oh, that's
we're big
brilliant.
fans.
That's lovely to hear.
So,
Thanks so much.
yeah,
You come
of
to the
course.
show.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll do
absolutely.
it
This will
tonight.
be my second time on this tour.
You saw us in Detroit, did you?
Yeah, I saw you guys at Royal Oak.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
Oh yeah, roll
That was
Yeah.
fun. I like
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal.
So thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Cheers. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you too,
Thanks
man.
so much.
Appreciate it.